The cake shop in this prime location has closed down. It is December 1st. With this high-end cake shop, you said there were over 200,000 views. Take a look, my cake shop is right here in this prime location at a crossroads. This leads to a residential area, and there are entrances to other residential areas here and here at this crossroad. There used to be another cake shop here that also closed down. December 1st should be a peak season date, yet it closed down. Look how many shops there are, and this cake shop, now called Asia Cake Shop, used to be called Matado. This crossroads, this prime location, used to have many branded stores, high-end Jiangxi bakery owners, and Chengdu chain stores, but in the end, they all closed down, couldn't withstand the pressure. The bakery I opened for half a year has closed down. These days, I'm handling the store's closure. The main reason I don't want to continue is the poor business. Sometimes I wonder, why do customers say it's good, but business can't continue? Maybe there wasn't enough marketing, or maybe I didn't work hard enough. It takes some accumulation to run a store, right? This store could make it if it's been around for a few years, but I don't know when the time will come, or how much money, time, and labor needs to be invested. I can't afford to waste any of it now.
I lost a total of about 1.1 million with the cake shop, with an initial investment of 1.2 million and a loss of 1.4 million. This was my parents' hard-earned money. But there's no choice but to face it. It's tough. When it first opened, it was indeed doing okay, with lots of customers. But the salaries and rent weren't what I imagined. The pressure was too immense. Just when there was a bit of money in the account, it had to go to paying the salaries, leaving only a few thousand yuan. Sometimes even buying ingredients wasn't enough. Then by the end of the year, when there was a few 100,000 yuan, it all went to rent. Essentially, no profit was made.
In the context of a continuously weak economy, low consumer spending, a wave of business closures, and a surge in unemployment, the closure rate of China's catering and retail industry has been rising. In 2023, more than 120,000 bakeries and pastry shops closed down. At the same time, a batch of 2 yuan bread shops across China are doing exceptionally well. According to Kanyan88.com, as of October 2023, 120,000 bakery and pastry shops closed down, while 122,000 new shops opened. Overall, the growth rate of the total number of bakery and pastry shops nationwide in 2023 was only 1%, with a fluctuating downward trend in the ratio of registrations to cancellations. Meanwhile, the 2023 Meituan on-site catering category report on the post-pandemic development and changes in the bakery industry shows that out of the top 100 Meituan bakeries in 2019, 39 were no longer in business by 2023, and 32 had reduced the number of their outlets. Behind these numbers, there are many well-known baking brands. The long-established baking brand Christine closed all of its stores in 2023 and sold buildings to pay off debts. Just 2 years ago, Tiger Attitude Chartered Pastry Bank was flourishing, but by December 29, 2023, only 7 stores remained. Its flagship stores on online channels like Tmall, Douyin, Pinduoduo, VIP Shop, and Diwu had all been shut down, even though Tiger Attitude had received investment bank financing at the beginning of 2023. Another brand, alongside Tiger Attitude, known as one of the twin stars of the new Chinese-style bakery, Dim Sum Bureau of Momo, closed all its stores in Beijing, Zhejiang, and Wuhan, leaving only 40 stores in its headquarters in Hunan. Besides the twin stars, the new Chinese-style bakery brand Dianjinxi, which had received 2 rounds of financing within a year, also disappeared quietly from public view. Dianjinxi was established in 2021 and completed angel investing and pre-Series A round funding in the same year, experiencing popularity in Beijing, Zhengzhou, and other places. Now, Dianjinxi's stores have all been eliminated. According to Dianping, its stores in Beijing and Zhengzhou have all closed. Many once popular internet-famous stores have also continuously retreated. In February 2023, Shenzhen's high-end bakery brand Angxi closed all its stores. Angxi had once invested over 100 million yuan to create what was claimed to be the world's largest cake store, a fantasy space store, which was a famous spot in Shenzhen. At its peak, Angxi had about 30 stores in Shenzhen. By early 2023, however, Angxi announced a complete shutdown, preparing for restructuring and liquidation. In May 2023, Le Notre, known as the pinnacle of French sweets, closed its last store in mainland China. Le Notre entered Shanghai in December 2020. In the following year, it opened 3 stores in Shanghai and expanded into Shenzhen, opening its first store in South China. Unfortunately, Le Notre's success was short-lived. In August 2022, Le Notre announced its withdrawal from Shanghai, and by May 2023, its first store in South China also closed. With this, Le Notre's exploration of the Chinese mainland market came to an end. At the end of July 2023, Dika, a Shanghai-based boutique high-end bakery occupying 2 floors, quietly closed down. The Dika flagship store in Shanghai and the pop-up store in Shenyang had both shut down, despite the Shanghai flagship store having only officially opened in late February 2023. As the market stands, investors' interest in bakeries has also declined. Data from Chichacha shows that in 2023, there were only 12 financing events in the bakery sector, nearly half that of the 22 events in 2022. The publicly disclosed financing amount was less than a third of that in 2022. According to Meituan's data, the average lifespan of bakery stores in China is 32 months, with 57.7% of stores closing within 2 years, and only 23.8% surviving for more than 4 years. As for why many bakeries keep closing, media analysis suggests that high-end bakery brands often choose premium business districts or prime street locations, and the store's decor must be fashionable, with a sizable area. Combined, these factors lead to much higher costs than ordinary bakeries. Additionally, as these products incorporate various popular elements, they tend to be expensive. For instance, Li Tao's signature double-layer cheesecake is priced at 238 yuan. A blancmange cake from Dika costs 58 yuan, with an average customer spending of 75 yuan. Angxi's cakes and desserts range from 38 to 65 yuan, while their cakes are priced between 100 and 1,999 yuan. The signature dessert Autumn Leaves from Le Notre is 88 yuan. Analysts indicate that with China's economic downturn and decreasing incomes, consumers are becoming more pragmatic and rational in their spending, with most preferring bread priced under 20 yuan. Increasingly, consumers are reluctant to pay for high premiums, adding pressure to the high-end baking industry. A mismatch between perceived value and price is a common complaint among consumers regarding luxury bakeries. A survey on Sina Weibo titled, "How much would you pay for bread?" found that among 344,000 netizens, over 90% would only spend up to 20 yuan. Quince Market Insights' 2023 Bakery Industry Development Trend Report reveals that over 90% of consumers purchase bakery items at least once a week. Yet only about 16% spend over 60 yuan per purchase. Netizens comment that the catering and retail industries are overly competitive. In newly opened bakeries, a simple bread can cost 8 to 10 yuan. Spending 40 to 50 yuan for a few items isn't appealing when income is unstable and such expenditures are non-essential. Others question the high prices of bakery goods, seeing them as merely fermented flour with limited nutritional value, and thus choose not to consume them. Amidst the closure of many bakeries, a wave of 2 yuan bread shops has emerged. Since October 2023, a trend of 2 yuan bread entrepreneurship has swept across China. In October alone, numerous stores opened in cities like Jinan, Qingdao, Dalian, Nanning, Kunming, Nanjing, Hefei, Suzhou, and Ningde. These stores also appeared in first-tier cities like Beijing and Guangzhou, moving towards branding and franchising. China's economic slump and tighter consumer budgets have hit the catering industry hard. The once popular Taiwanese chain of soy milk and fried Chinese donut stores Taoyuan Village is down to just 4 outlets. Recent reports from Jimian News in China state that this brand, which once revolutionized the breakfast street food scene, is nearing disappearance. At its peak, Taoyuan Village had over 40 stores, but now only 4 remain operational, with only one in Shanghai, its largest market, and the others in Chengdu and Xiamen. Despite its Taiwanese-themed name and traditional Chinese character decor, Taoyuan Village was founded by someone from Jiangsu Province. Between 2016 and 2017, Taoyuan Village rapidly expanded, primarily in prime locations in first-tier cities. Labeled as the Hermes of soy milk and fried donuts, in its heyday in 2016, it charged 22 yuan for a glutinous rice roll with pork floss, 25 yuan for a corn Chinese omelet, 36 yuan for 2 pork buns, 8 yuan for a fried Chinese donut, and 10 yuan for a bowl of soy milk. The store's aesthetic design also encouraged customers to take photos while dining. However, as per Tianyancha's data, Taoyuan Village's parent company, Shanghai Juanxiang Catering Management is marked with various labels including high consumption restrictions, equity freezes, and as a judgment debtor. The company's most recent risk information appeared 11 days ago, related to a real estate lease dispute with Taikoo Hui Guangzhou Development, with Taoyuan Village's parent company listed as the judgment debtor, involving approximately 1.17 million yuan. Additionally, many associated branches in Shenzhen, Beijing, and other locations are listed as cancelled. Reports analyze that Taoyuan Village's focus on fried donuts, soy milk, and pancakes, combined with more expensive items like shrimp wontons in chili oil costing 39 yuan and beef tendon noodles costing 48 yuan, seem out of step with the current economic climate. In the last remaining Shanghai outlet, among over 5,000 Dianping reviews, high price is the top complaint. Taiwanese cuisine has long lost its popularity in China. The Taiwanese chain Chiamate announced the closure of all its stores in December 2020. Most shares of the Taiwanese restaurant chain Bellagio, known for its Taiwanese dishes, were sold to a related company, Danyang Dumpling. The report points out that Taoyuan Village's rise and popularity followed China's previous trend of consumption upgrading, where people were willing to pay a premium for brand and experience. However, this strategy of high pricing is no longer appropriate in the current consumption environment. According to data from Chichacha, as of December 21, 2023, the number of registered cancellations and suspensions of Chinese catering enterprises exceeded 1.2 million, more than double the total for 2022, setting a new record since 2020. Recently, a lamb noodle restaurant in Shanghai named Xiaobai faced closure just 6 days after opening, sparking widespread discussion. The 25-year-old owner invested 800,000 yuan in the restaurant, but realized he couldn't continue after a few days, anticipating losses of 600,000 to 700,000 yuan. Furthermore, a mainland media article stated, eateries that have been around for decades are closing down abruptly. On the same street, the restaurants are continuously changing. After a tea shop closes, a snack bar opens. If the snack bar doesn't last 2 months, it's replaced by a fast food outlet. In the past, the question was how much profit to make. Now, it's a choice between survival and disappearance. Continuing to operate is like falling into a bottomless pit. In the past couple of years, many big restaurants have closed, but this year, more small ones are shutting down, lamented many frontline catering professionals. In downtown Hangzhou, a pan-fried bun shop had to relocate from a bustling commercial area to a local market due to unbearable rent increases. The article mentioned, initially, the shop's rent was 400,000 yuan per year, and each bun was sold for 6 cents. Later, the rent increased to 600,000 yuan, and the price of the buns had to be raised to 1 yuan each. Eventually, the rent skyrocketed to 1.2 million yuan per year. Unable to cope, the shop had to move. In July 2023, a restaurant owner in a state of collapse smashed tables, chairs, pots, and pans in his shop and threw them onto the street in the middle of the night, exclaiming, "I'm done! I'm closing the shop." The owner's emotional breakdown was due to poor business and inability to cover the rent. Ah Hua, who once ran a noodle shop in Guangzhou, confessed, "It's tough. You can't manage with orders, hiring staff is too expensive, and it's a constant loss. I had to promptly put a stop to my losses and close the shop." These small business owners' experiences are a true reflection of the struggles countless small catering business owners face. Costs for ingredients, rent, and labor are rising annually. In this high-cost era, many small shops are struggling and eventually closing. Many in the catering industry believe business in 2023 is tougher than in previous years. On one hand, consumer spending is declining, and foot traffic is decreasing. On the other hand, the industry is flooded with new entrepreneurs, intensifying competition. To compete for market share, newcomers and existing players are resorting to aggressive strategies like price reductions, promotional packages, and low-cost group buying deals. This fierce price war not only disrupts the catering ecosystem, but also accelerates the wave of closures. Analysts point out that behind the wave of restaurant closures lie problems of unemployment and low-price competition. Post-pandemic, unemployment rates have been rising, and many middle-aged and young people urgently need jobs. Ride-sharing, food delivery, and restaurant entrepreneurship have become hubs for the unemployed. With the first two areas already saturated, many young people are turning to the catering industry, hoping to learn a skill and start a business to make money from money. As a result, the areas surrounding supermarkets and plazas have seen a significant increase in stalls and shops, with barbecue, teppanyaki, stinky tofu, and luosifen shops opening one after another. However, the number of young consumers shopping and dining is limited, leading to an oversupply in the upstream chain but a shrinking customer base. The increase in supply and lack of downstream consumption have led to fierce low-price competition. By the end of 2023, the last wave of closures in the catering industry was dominated by milk tea shops, with many new trendy tea brands facing closure. Even many chain enterprises couldn't survive. In November 2023, Happy Lemon, established in 2007, announced the sale of 70% of its Chinese business. The well-known Guangzhou lemon tea brand Uncle Q also faced store closures and unpaid wages issues. The once booming noodle and rice noodle industry also saw multiple brands go bankrupt and close down. Following the nuclear wastewater incident, Japanese restaurants faced several waves of closures. Despite many changing their names, ingredients, and decor styles, they couldn't avoid the inevitable closures. Analysts believe that although many restaurants survived 2023, they are likely to close in the first half of 2024. The catering market has shifted from a growth phase to a competition for existing market share. In 2024, the industry is expected to continue to internalize, facing the new three highs dilemma of high growth rate, high elimination rate, and high closure rate.